Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Cluiche with me, Seamus, Brady, your host. And in this video, we are going to give an in-depth review of the Derry versus Cork All-Ireland football quarter-final of 2023. And I want to start off this video by giving a shout out to Aaron Prendergast, the man behind Gaelic Fan TV, because he pretty much called this one perfectly. He said if this was a boxing match, this would be a decision. He said that in his preview where I was on his channel. And sure enough, it went that way. It finished Derry 1-12, Cork 1-8 in Croke Park. Both teams, particularly in the first half, very much sussing each other out. Neither of them really committed. Neither of them really went for it in this game. Now, Derry picked their moments, and a 1-4 scoring blitz in the third quarter proved to be the difference. At the start, Derry smashed 6 points to 2 in front. As I said, they were better at pinching off the scores than Cork were, but the game was being played very tentative, and they were picking their moments very carefully. Paul Cassidy, Shane McGuigan, and Ethan Doherty were coming up with the scores for Derry to put them 6-2 ahead in the first place, but Cork fought back with 3 points in a row before half-time from Rory Dean, Stephen Sherlock, and Kevin O'Donovan. And at halftime, it was Derry 6, Cork 5, and a very, very interesting second half heading into it. But then in the third quarter, as I mentioned, Derry hit a goal and 4, and their goal was crucial because Cork had just scored a goal of their own. Rory Maguire very cleverly was put through, spotted the door on Lynch had taken a step off his line, and simply just palmed it like that over his head into the back of the net. Now, Cork had the momentum at this point, but by God, Derry didn't let it stay that way for long. They went straight down the other end of the pitch, and their wing-back Conor Doherty stuck it in the bottom corner of the Cork net to immediately swing the momentum back in Derry's favour. 4 more points later, Derry pretty much had the game out of sight, out of Cork's hands. And it could have even been worse for Cork as a penalty was given to Derry in the 72nd minute, with Shane McGuigan missing that penalty. So the scoreboard could have looked even worse. Now, Shane McGuigan was fantastic for Derry as always. Gareth McKinless was the one who stood out for me. I thought, again, he was brilliant. And him at centre half back, he is so important to this Derry side. Now, honestly, watching this game, I feel like Derry need to improve their attacking output. When you see how Kerry and Dublin just blitzed Mayo and Tyrone respectively, it's the same with Derry and Monaghan. I feel like they need to be scoring more to compete with these teams because defensive systems don't work against Dublin and they don't work against Kerry in Croke Park. If you get them in a tighter pitch, you can have more success with them. But in Croke Park, they haven't worked for quite a while now, and you have to kind of go at them to be able to compete with them. But Derry, fantastic that they're back in the All-Ireland semi-final. I mean, the reality is that before last year, they hadn't got to an All-Ireland semi-final off the top of my head since 2004. So them getting to back-to-back All-Ireland semi-finals is hugely significant for Gaelic football in Derry in general. As for Cork, massive progress made this season, no doubt about it. John Cleary in their first year at the helm. Their league was up and down. They had some fantastic performances against Dublin. Brian Hurley nearly stole the victory for them that day. Then they got knocked out of the Ulster Championship by Clare. Questions coming up as, is there progress being made? By God, did they turn those doubts around during the Super 8s. Back-to-back victories over Mayo and Roscommon. Fantastic. Victory over Louth as well. Really, really impressive. And then stood toe-to-toe with Derry, a side that a lot of people tipped as dark horses for the All-Ireland, and went the full 70 minutes with them. So I think this year for John Cleary, he should be absolutely proud of his boys. They have been fantastic this year, and I can't wait to see what strides they make next year under him. But for Derry, 1-12 to 1-8, they march on into the All-Ireland semi-finals. Their defence was fantastic again in this game. Gareth McKinless, as I mentioned, fantastic performance by him. The goal from Conor Doherty coming at the time that it did, especially after Rory Maguire had just scored a goal for Cork, I think was crucial because it stole Cork's momentum and took it for Derry instead, and they did manage the game out well from that point on for the victory. Can Derry go and potentially win the All-Ireland? What do you think Derry can do? Do you think they can win the All-Ireland? Put it in the comments below. They are back-to-back Ulster champions. I don't think any team left in the Final Four would fancy facing Derry at this stage. They look very, very good. Put it in the comments below what you think will happen. And just to have a comment here from Meathman. He says, I hate when people say Gaelic football is awful when in reality it's only certain teams playing negatively like Derry, Louth, etc. I get what you mean, like in terms of defensive systems, etc. Because again, it goes back to what I was saying about how me and Aaron were saying it would be like if it was a boxing match, it would be a decision. Both teams very much were cautious, sussing each other out at the start of the game. And yeah, it wasn't really front foot football. And I do think, honestly, if Derry want to beat Kerry or want to beat Dublin in Croke Park, you have to put your foot down on the pedal and go for it. And I actually think even Monaghan's style suits Croke Park more, potentially. Like, it would be really, really interesting to see them two lock horns in Croke Park. Obviously, they can't because they played each other twice this season. But yeah, be very, very interesting. I think they have to go more front foot if they want to compete with Dublin and Kerry and Croke Park, because we've seen over the last few years that defensive systems don't work on those two teams in Croke Park anymore. But that's just my opinions. I will be doing more videos now on the rest of the weekend's action, so do make sure you check them out, guys. And until the next one, take care.